Welcome to the Cambridge Financial Podcast with Bert Salazar, CEO at Cambridge Financial Partners, LLC. This podcast is all about tax-preferred retirement planning, economics, financial risk management, and achieving a risk-free and successful financial life. Now, your host, Bert Salazar.
Hey, good day, everyone. Welcome to another Cambridge podcast. I hope all of you are doing really well today. Today's podcast is going to be on the impact of IRA distributions on Medicare premiums. You know, one of the things that we try here at Cambridge to promote on an ongoing basis to many of our clients is that, you know, they have to stop looking at their financial decisions through a microscope, and they need to start looking at their financial decisions through a telescope. The view is totally different, as I've said many a times, but most important, when you look at your finances and every financial decision that you're going to make in the future or that you have made in the past, and you look at them through a telescope, you're going to learn and you're going to be able to see things that you had never seen or had ever known about before. So today, in our discussion of the impact of IRAs on Medicare premiums is another example on the negative impact that IRA distributions can have on your financial life and that of your family in the future. You know, there's an old saying that when it comes to the IRS and when it comes to taxation, sometimes you're the windshield, most of the times you're the bug. And we all know the difference between a windshield and a bug, and the bug very seldom survives the impact with a windshield as a vehicle is driving down the road. The same thing happens to the vast majority of Americans that are planning to retire. For retirement, they're reaching retirement, and they're about to start taking distributions from their retirement accounts. And in their mind, they only feel or think that the only negative impact that they're going to have under their qualified plans and or IRAs or 403Bs or defined benefits and so forth is the taxes that they're going to have to pay on those accounts. What they fail to realize due to provisional income calculations is the negative impact that those distributions are going to have not only on that specific distribution for that given year, but most important on the negative impact that it will have on everything else that they have in their entire portfolio. So as an American, as someone who's trying very hard to make it to retirement and to save properly, is very critical to understand, you know, how these distributions work and how to mitigate those issues. And the more time you have before you hit your retirement age, the better off you're going to be, because you'll have the ability to plan accordingly. So again, today, you know, the cost of Medicare premiums in your IRAs is something that we're going to be discussing. Now, for those of you that may or may not know this, IRA distributions and Roth IRA conversions can have an effect on the size of the Medicare premiums that you pay. And here's how, and pretty much, you know, what to do about it. Now, when it comes to Medicare premium, there's something called means testing Medicare. And Medicare, as many of us know, and many of you should know, consists primarily of four parts. Part A, which covers hospital cost, is paid primarily by the government. And now, obviously, you're not going to pay a premium for Part A. But the cost for Part B, which pays doctors, equipment, and outpatient costs, and Part D, which covers prescription drug benefit, are partially covered by premiums paid by the participants. Now, Part C, which provides Medicare Advantage plans, has rules that vary depending on the type of plan that you choose. So you have Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. So Part A, again, hospital. Part B is doctors, outpatient cost, and medical equipment. Part C would be your Medicare Advantage plans. And then Part D would be prescription drugs. Now, in 2018, The base monthly premium for Medicare Part B is $134. Now, the base monthly premium for Part D varies, but the average is about $35 a month. Again, for Medicare Part D, the monthly premium is $134 a month. However, high-income individuals are subject to what is known as IRMA, which is Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, IRMAA, which is primarily a surcharge that is added onto the premiums. In other words, the more money you make, the more the government is going to penalize you when it comes to Medicare premiums. Now, in 2018, the IRMA surcharges apply to persons that have modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI as they call it, over $85,000 if you happen to file a single return, or $170,000 on a joint return. MAGI is adjusted gross income as shown on the tax return, plus tax-exempt interest and tax-exempt foreign income. So I'll give you some of the numbers that are very critical to understand. And because of those numbers, we at Cambridge do a tremendous amount of planning for the vast majority of my clients as they prepare to enter the retirement world, and once they hit the age of 65 and they have to sign up for Medicare. So first, let's go ahead and talk about someone who's single. So they're just filing on an annual basis based on a single individual. Now, if you're single and you make up to up to $85,000, you're just going to pay the $135 premium, and you're going to pay the premium for Part D, which would be the prescription drugs, but you're not going to pay any type of surcharges. Now, once your income goes from $85,000 to $107,000, then you're going to have a surcharge on Part B of your Medicare that used to be $134 a month. Now it's going to increase by another $53.50 a month. So your total Part B premium will now be $187.50 per month. Again, if your income, and you're single, if your income is from $107,000, so now we're getting to the third layer, to $133,000, now your Part B surcharge will be $133.90. So now your entire total premium for Part B would go from $134 a month, best case scenario, to $267.90 a month. And then obviously you're going to have a surcharge for Part D, which would be $33.60 on top of the average $35 that you would be paying. So at that point in time, obviously, things are starting to get pretty steep, but the income is not really that much. I mean, we're looking at someone who's making between $107,000 and $133,500. Now, anyone who's filing again single and is making between $133,500 and $160,000 is going to receive a surcharge of $214.30. So now your monthly Part B premium again is going to go from $134 to $348.30, and then obviously your surcharge for Part D is going to increase to $54.20. Now, once you are single and you're a single filer and your income exceeds $160,000, then now your surcharge for Part B will be $294.60, and now your monthly premium would be $428.60, and your surcharge for Part D will be $74.80. Now, I do have a number of clients that have done fairly well. They're professionals, they're single, they're about to reach retirement, They think that they're going to be much better off because obviously their mortgage is going to be paid for, or they're almost at a point in time in their mortgage payments that they may only have a couple years left. But they fail to understand that, all those mortgage payments are just going to be replaced for other payments are going to have to be made in retirement. I think the other question is, well, what if you're not single? What if you happen to be married and you file jointly every single year? Well, as long as your adjustable gross income is less than $170,000, then you will just pay the $134 a month plus the $35 or so based on the Part D that you will choose. Now, once your income goes from $170,000 to $214,000, then now you're going to have a surcharge on Part B of $53.50. So now your total premium for Part B will increase from $134 to $187.50. Again, if you're married filing jointly, and now your income exceeds $214,000 up to $267,000, then now you're going to have a surcharge of about $133.90. So now your total Part B premium will be $267.90. And then your surcharge for Part D will increase to $33.60 from $13. Now, what if you happen to be married and filing jointly, and now your income exceeds $267,000 and it goes up to $320,000? Well, in this situation, your surcharge just went up to $214.30, and now your Part B premium will be $348.30, and obviously your Part D surcharge will increase to $54.20. And then last but not least, if your income exceeds in retirement $320,000, married filing jointly, then now your surcharge will be an additional $294.60, and now your Part B premium will be a substantial $428.60, and your Part D surcharge will increase to $74.80 plus the $35 that you were paying. So also remember, obviously, that surcharges apply on a cliff basis. So for instance, the more money you make, the more money you're going to pay. Now, as I said earlier, at the highest level, the two surcharges total $369.40 per month, or $4,432.80 per year. Now, it's also important to know that the IRMA surcharge for a year generally set using the MAGI reported on the tax return filed for 2 years previously. So, we're in 2018, so Medicare is looking at the tax returns that were filed in 2016. So they're usually lagging 2 years behind. So this is because the return filed 2 years previously generally is the most recent available, to Social Security for setting up premiums. So, it takes Social Security a little bit of time to make certain that they can, catch up. So they're using that 2-year rule. Now, when income falls to a level much lower than that reported on the tax return for the previous 2 years, then it may be unfair to incur surcharges due to an income that no longer exists. In that case, it is possible to ask Social Security to have the IRMA income amount adjusted downward. So, if in 2018 Social Security is looking at your income for 2016, but it dropped significantly in 2017 and 2018, then you can go back to Social Security and see if they can adjust it to a lower level, so you really wouldn't be penalized for an income that you no longer have available because of the fact that you may have retired in 2016. Now, in order to do this, there's a form you have to complete, which is SSA 44, Medicare Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount Life-Changing Event. And then obviously make sure that if you fall into that category, that you complete it and then you send it to Social Security for review. Now, when it comes to minimizing surcharges, what can you do as you're preparing for retirement and you want to plan accordingly? What are some of the things that you can do? And these are the things, that we try at Cambridge and we successfully do with our clients on a regular basis as we meet with them, not only as new clients that come to see us for the first time, but also existing clients that we do reviews for either quarterly or semi-annually, and we do those reviews, and as we get closer and closer to retirement or age 65, then we start to pay more and more attention to these things. But many times we start planning for these things 5 years away from retirement. Now, the simplest way to minimize surcharges is to look at a tax return when it's being prepared, and check to see if the reported modified adjusted gross income is near one of the thresholds that I just mentioned to you a few minutes ago. If so, then I think it would be important to take steps to keep it under the threshold. If income is close enough, any of a number of tax return strategies may do the trick. Looking ahead, obviously, planned realization of income and deductions in the future are very important in order to keep your modified adjusted gross income below your nearest threshold. Now, but also know that IRA actions may affect surcharges unexpectedly. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, taxable distributions and annual required minimum distributions, or RMDs, from an IRA will actually increase your modified adjusted gross income and may push it over a surcharge threshold. As an extra, unexpected expense of the distribution may also force you to do that. So if you have an unexpected expense that you need to cover and is now forcing you to take more money out of your IRA in order to meet that liability, then please bear in mind that by the same token, that liability may very well carry over for a couple of years because of that excess distribution on a given year. Now, a Roth IRA conversion could also push income over the threshold, but it makes future distributions tax-free and will prevent them from increasing your modified adjusted gross income in any of the following years. Now, whenever we work with our clients, we want to make certain, because of the fact that we do tax planning as well, we want to make certain that as we start to consider making IRA conversions and rolling IRA monies to Roth IRAs, because financially it may make tremendous sense, we also want to make certain that we do it on a systematic basis, and we try to avoid as much as we possibly can any surcharge that may be applicable because of that additional conversion where taxes were paid in that given year. Now, even if at times your taxes will increase or your Medicare surcharge will increase for that given year because of the fact that you made that IRA conversion to a Roth IRA, please bear in mind that once that money goes into a Roth IRA, it's never going to be counted toward your modified adjusted gross income in future years. So in reality, you may be receiving a benefit along those lines. So that's something that you also need to consider as well. Now, income from a Roth conversion made at the age of 62 or earlier, will not increase Medicare surcharges due to the 2-year lag, since Medicare actually starts at age 65. So whenever we do any type of tax planning for clients, and I may see someone who may be 59 and a half or 60 or 61 or 62, and they have a large sum of money in their IRAs, it might make sense to start making those conversions more aggressively between the ages of 60 and 62. And the reason for that is that since Medicare you have to sign up for Medicare in no later than that 7-month period, which is the age that you turn 65, which means that if your birthday is in July, you have 3 months before. Then you have the month of your birthday, which in my case would be July, and then 3 months after that in order to sign up for Medicare and avoid that penalty that would be charged for late application to Medicare for the rest of your life. But because of the fact that the age is 65, then that means that even if you do some large conversions at the age of 60, 61, or 62, by the time you get to 65, those conversions would not be taken into consideration because at age 65, the Social Security Administration would be looking at your tax return for your age 63 along those lines. And like I said, many a times it makes sense, to make multiple and small conversions in order to mitigate that potential liability in the future. Now, another option that many clients have, and those that are very, very good about making contributions to charitable organizations, is to make what is known as a QCD, which is a qualified charitable distribution. And what it does is it allows the IRA funds to be transferred directly to a charity, while satisfying also the required minimum distribution if the person that's making the transfer is at least 70 and a half years of age. So it mitigates and it does well on the RMDs, but it would not be increasing your modified adjustable gross income as a normal IRA distribution because of the fact that you are making that distribution, or you're making a charitable contribution or a gift to a qualified charitable organization. So in that situation, if you're prone to do that, you get the both worlds. If you happen to be age 70 and a half and you have no choice but to make those withdrawals or required minimum distributions, if you take a portion of those withdrawals that may exceed the threshold, or where now you would have to pay, a penalty from a Medicare premium standpoint, then it might make sense to make a contribution to your favorite charity and then meet your required minimum distribution guidelines, while by the same token not having a negative impact on your modified adjustable income in order to stay below the threshold for the additional Medicare premium. Of course, these IRA possibilities are just some of the many strategies that can be used to affect your modified adjusted gross income. So I think it would be important for you to include them as part of a comprehensive financial strategy for retirement. The challenge with that is that the majority of the times, most of the clients that we engage for the first time, the majority of the decisions that they have made have been either made in a vacuum, made from a micro perspective, instead of using a telescopic view and identifying all the other areas that those distributions may have a negative impact, and see if proper planning can be done in order to alleviate those liabilities. So obviously these are things that we specialize here at Cambridge, and this is a call to action to all of you that listen to our podcast on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to me at any point in time, either by telephone at 786-766-1042. You can also reach out to me at my corporate email address, which is Bert, B-E-R-T .Salazar, S-A-L-A-Z-A-R, at Cambridge, F as in Frank, P as in Paul, LLC.com, or you can also reach out to me at my personal business email address, which is Bert, B-E-R-T, at bertsalazar.com. And I would be more than happy to answer any questions without any cost or obligation to any of you listening to our podcast. And the reason is simple. We do generate a lot of clients on an annual basis, and we're proud of the fact that we have had clients with us almost 30 years. Many of our clients have been around for at least 10 years, so that tells you that we as a firm are doing something well. But also is very critical for us to help you, the American public, help you, our client, to help you, our friend, and to help those of you that are listening to these podcasts on a weekly basis. Our number one job is to help you change, the way that you see things. Because when you change the way that you see things, the things that you see change. So again, thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time today and discussing something that is very critical, that many of us and many of you email me on a regular basis, asking me for more and more information, because at the end of the day, you want education. Information is good, but information without education always leads to failure. So again, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.